Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin price is still inside this ascending triangle pattern. As you can see here, yesterday's daily candle closed back below this important line of resistance. So Bitcoin only has within the next 3 weeks to actually break this resistance, or else we will be breaking to the downside here. In just a moment, I'll be getting into some of these important Bitcoin charts later in the video, getting into all of my next price targets and my Bitcoin strategy moving forward. So definitely make sure you're watching this video all the way to the end so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And if that sounds good to you, just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. Simply by clicking that subscribe button down below, which costs you nothing, you're going to be getting this valuable content every day here on the channel. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin to US dollar chart on the 1 day time frame. And yeah, just as I explained in the intro of the video, as you can see, the daily candle that we were forming yesterday, we were initially starting to potentially break this resistance to the upside, but the daily candle actually closed back beneath this resistance line. And by the way, this line of resistance that I've got right now is sitting at around $50,500 approximately. But I did actually discuss in yesterday's Bitcoin update video that we could potentially adjust this line so that we can actually have some more touch points along this line of resistance previously throughout this pattern, as you can see, and that would actually suggest that the Bitcoin price has already broken out to the upside here. And when you're looking on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, this extremely recent bearish price action just here was potentially just the retest to help actually confirm this previous resistance level into new support. But of course, this would require us to kind of disregard this price action just back here, and also this price action just here that we were actually trading above this line of resistance, and also the fact that right now we are not seeing very much volume at all, and we're also on a weekend. So historically speaking, on a weekend, we do not see as much volume as what we normally see during the week because there's a lot less traders trading on a weekend. So with all of that in mind, honestly, I'll be careful in confirming this breakout right now. I would say that there's really not enough confirmation to say that we've definitely broken out here, because once again, you could simply draw this pattern like this and only pay attention to the top of these candle wicks here as the actual resistance to pay attention to. And once again, that there would suggest that we are still currently inside the ascending triangle pattern. Now, technically speaking, an ascending triangle pattern is a bullish pattern. So that just basically means that it's more likely for this type of pattern to break out to the upside. But even though it's more likely for us to break out to the upside, it's not impossible for Bitcoin to break to the downside. I want to make that clear as well. But either way, whether we're breaking to the upside or to the downside, we've only got to the end of the triangle to actually decide what way we're going. So from the current price of Bitcoin to the end of this ascending triangle pattern, that's only around 3 weeks away. So basically, we've got 3 weeks to break above this resistance at around 51K approximately, which by the way, that is also where the golden pocket is sitting at, which I'll also update you guys again in just a moment on the golden pocket. But yeah, we've only got around 3 weeks to actually break above that resistance just there. Otherwise, if we do not see a break of that resistance within the next 3 weeks, it is very likely that in that case, we will see much more bearish price action coming soon. So right now, we are truly in a deciding time for Bitcoin, because as you can see here, the Bitcoin price is still currently battling against this rising wedge pattern. When you're zooming into the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, we've seen 2 touch points along this support all the way back there, another touch point pretty much along that support just there, and then a 4th touch point along this support for the rising wedge pattern before the Bitcoin price finally began breaking to the downside. And then of course, recently we've seen some bullish price action, but we've only retested this previous support line, and we've actually gotten 2 small rejections from this exact line of resistance. And right now, this line of resistance is coming in at roughly around 51,000. Of course, it is ascending to the upside. So if we take a little bit longer to get back up towards that line of resistance, then it might be coming in at more like 51,500. So this is also more resistance that the Bitcoin price is currently battling against. And of course, as the subscribers would already know by now, bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool, we are still currently below the golden pocket. The golden pocket is sitting at around 51 to 52,000 US dollars. Now, I'm not going to really repeat the same things that I've been saying over the past 1 to 2 days about this exact golden pocket. So for the brand new viewers on the channel, I definitely recommend checking out my last 1 to 2 Bitcoin updates, because I went into much more detail about this golden pocket right here for Bitcoin and what it actually means. But something that I didn't really explain in my previous videos is the true significance of these Fibonacci levels. So zooming out a little bit further on the Bitcoin chart, this is still on the daily time frame. And if we bring out the Fibonacci retracement tool from the $14,000 high during the middle of 2019 down to that March 2020 capitulation low at around 3.9K, as you can see here, what's very interesting is if you zoom in a little bit more, as you can see, we actually ran into huge resistance at the exact golden pocket during May and June 2020. In fact, from the first moments that we actually ran into that golden pocket as resistance just there, we actually spent the next 3 months nearly below the golden pocket before we finally saw a break above the golden pocket straight in towards this 78.6% Fibonacci level up here at roughly around 12,000 US dollars. And then we actually came all the way back down towards the golden pocket to retest it as support. This was really important because the moment that the Bitcoin price actually used the golden pocket as support and confirmed it as support, that was when we finally confirmed the next major bullish move about to happen in the Bitcoin market. And as you can see here, that next bullish movement ran straight into the 1618 Fibonacci level, which at that time was sitting at the previous all-time high of 20,000 US dollars. So seriously, the Bitcoin price heavily respects these Fibonacci levels time and time again throughout history. For example, if you're looking at the biggest Fibonacci retracement in recent history for Bitcoin. Now, by the way, these Fibonacci levels are using the logarithmic scale, so they might be a little bit different if you're trying to use them yourself. You just have to switch them to the logarithmic scale. But as you can see here, during the Fibonacci retracement tool from the previous bull market top at around 20,000 US dollars during 2017, all the way down to the bear market low of 2018 at just above 3,000 US dollars. What's really interesting when using the logarithmic scale once again is we still have the golden pocket at those exact same levels just here, once again at around 10,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, give or take, which is where we found resistance multiple times throughout history, and also that major support level that came during September and October 2020. And we also found major resistance at that $14,000 peak during 2019 at the 78.6% Fibonacci level, which was really interesting. And what's also really interesting is when we finally broke the previous all-time high of around 20,000, and when the price began exploding to the upside in the beginning of this year, where did we actually top out? Well, the Bitcoin price actually reached the current all-time high at the exact 1618 Fibonacci level. Seriously, you cannot make this up. The 1618 Fibonacci level is coming in at around 64,500 US dollars, which is pretty much exactly where the all-time high is for Bitcoin. And so the majority of the time, if we cannot get above one of these significant Fibonacci levels soon, then that just means that we're still in for potentially some bearish price action over the next few weeks and months. Now, once again, this is looking at the big picture. So obviously it's totally possible to have, short-term bullish price action when you're looking at the 1 hour chart, the 4 hour chart, that sort of thing. It is totally possible for us to have some short-term bullish price action. But in regards to these major bullish movements that we see in the Bitcoin price, I'm talking the triple digit gains, as in what we saw here, for example, from 10,000 to 60,000. We will only confirm those gains for Bitcoin if we can get above that golden pocket first of all, and also above the all-time high, which is the previous 1618 Fibonacci level, coming in at around 64, nearly 65,000 US dollars. Now, on another note, on the 4 hour Bitcoin chart, as you can see here, we are potentially just about to get another bearish cross in the MACD, just on the 4 hour time frame once again. So this isn't extremely significant. Taking a look at a couple of the last times that we saw these bearish crosses in the MACD, looking at the one at the end of July leading into the beginning of August back here, this bearish cross on the 4 hour time frame resulted in a 4.7% loss when you're measuring from the bearish cross up to the next bullish cross just here. And then the following bearish cross was pretty much a break even. We saw almost nothing actually happen for that bearish cross, but that's when you're measuring from bearish cross to bullish cross. Obviously, if you're measuring from the bearish cross to the actual low just here, then that was more like a loss of around 4%. Looking at the next bearish cross to bullish cross here, that resulted in another 4% downturn in the price. And then looking at the most recent bearish cross to bullish cross, that resulted in around a 2.5% loss in the Bitcoin price. So once again, only mild bearish price action after these 4 hour bearish crosses that we're seeing in the MACD. And yeah, we're just about to see another bearish cross. So that could potentially just mean a little bit of a short-term cool off here. Nothing major, obviously. Honestly, if you're just zooming out a little bit and looking at the bigger image here, I'll mostly just be expecting somewhat sideways price action in the short term, talking about in the next 1 to 2 days potentially. And then once again, going back to what I was just saying about the golden pocket and that breakout out of that ascending triangle pattern, what I was saying in the beginning of the video, we really need to start breaking above around 51 to 52,000 within the next few weeks, because if we do not see a break of those significant levels sometime soon, then obviously, as I just mentioned earlier, that would not be too good for the Bitcoin price. And just giving you guys another update on the Wook-Lich ratio indicator. As you can see here, this indicator is still preparing us for potentially some bearish price action coming soon, but obviously the bearish price action is not confirmed just yet. It is only confirmed confirmed if this red line actually falls below this orange line just here, as you can see. And out of the last 6 times that we saw this indicator flash red, 5 out of those 6 signals were actually accurate. Of course, this is still only talking about the somewhat shorter term, if you want to call it that, because as you can see here, the bearish price action that we're really talking about lasted for around 3 weeks approximately before we started to head higher. And that was actually one of the longer retracements that we saw after these red flashes just here in this indicator. Some of the shorter ones only lasted around 1 to 2 weeks up here, as you can see. So yeah, just keep this in mind as well. We are probably still not too far away for some bearish price action sometime soon. Now, honestly, the most bullish scenario possible for Bitcoin would be a break of the golden pocket, which once again is around 51 to 52,000 US dollars. If we could break above that level sometime soon, talking about the next 1 to 2 weeks or so, and then we actually confirm some bearish price action, because either way, this indicator is going to break eventually, and it's likely to break within the next 1 to 2 weeks here. So once again, we're likely to see some sort of bearish price action come into play within the next couple weeks here. But just in the most bullish scenario possible, if we can get a break of that golden pocket once again really soon, then we could potentially see some bearish price action come into play when we're above the golden pocket, and that bearish price action could simply just be the retest of the golden pocket before we head higher. Now, once again, that is just the most bullish scenario that I can actually see right now. Obviously, that is not guaranteed or anything. I'm just letting you guys know some of the things that I am looking out for in the Bitcoin charts and some really important levels that I am currently paying attention to. And in regards to my Bitcoin strategy right now, obviously, I have my long-term strategy and my short-term strategy. When you're looking at my long-term Bitcoin strategy, pretty much nothing changes that. Seriously, it has not changed throughout this entire time period just here, even when we saw this massive crash, because my long-term Bitcoin strategy is essentially just to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. And as the name of the strategy suggests, I'm storing that Bitcoin for the long term. I'm not even touching that Bitcoin. So right now in my long-term Bitcoin strategy, once again, I'm still just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and holding for the long term. I'm doing nothing else. And then what's involved in my short-term Bitcoin strategy is, of course, trading Bitcoin. So that means entering long positions and short positions depending on the short-term trends. But right now, currently, I am actually not in a Bitcoin trade, because obviously we are still below the golden pocket, which means that we can't be overly bullish just yet. I will be looking for long opportunities if we can break above the golden pocket with confirmation. But until then, we still have to at least consider that we could see some bearish price action before we see the break of the golden pocket. So if we do continue to find resistance along that level and actually get more of a rejection from that level to the downside, then I will be looking for opportunities to short Bitcoin. But right now, really, when you're looking at the Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, we are still in a daily uptrend because we haven't broken the higher low and higher high structure. But considering the huge significance of the resistance just here at around 51 to 52,000, once again, I would not really be comfortable entering a massive long position right now. And also, I would not like to enter a short position unless we actually confirm that again as resistance and see a further rejection to the downside. So that's seriously why I've been saying that recently Bitcoin is definitely in a deciding moment, because what the Bitcoin price does within the next couple of weeks will seriously decide the fate of Bitcoin over the next few months. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated every day here on the channel and also in real time over on my Twitter. So if you're not following me on my Twitter, definitely check that out in the link in the description. But anyway, that's just about everything I have to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. And considering the amazing opportunity that we are just about to see in the Bitcoin market, there's never been a better time to share these videos around with your friends, to get your friends involved in this amazing opportunity. And obviously, there's never been a better time to stay active in these markets. But anyway, that's really everything I have to say for this video. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video.